What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, reviewing today the Panzer Dragoon Remake, because this was randomly released yesterday during a Nintendo Direct, and I've already decided to beat it a couple times. Now, if you've never played Panzer Dragoon, perhaps you're saying, how can you have beaten this multiple times when it just came out yesterday? Well, you see, this game is very short. In fact, I was able to finish this in about 65 minutes. It's barely over an hour, and it costs $25. So I want to look at this thing in detail and see what is good, what isn't bad, and really kind of answer the question, is it worth that price? Let's start off by talking about what this game is. So the Panzer Dragoon series are a bunch of games that are like on-rails shooters, where you are playing as a dragon rider, coasting through these corrupted kingdoms and trying to save the land. Each of them is very fun. I tracked down and collected them a long time ago, and I've always kind of respected the fact that they're not exactly normal. They're very weird games with eccentric stories and convoluted plots, and more than that, they're very artsy. They try and have just crazy visuals and cool tunnels and stuff to try and get you excited about just being a dragon rider. The biggest thing about this remake that I cannot express enough how much I love it is this art. Just how much they managed to redo every single little particle effect and water effect and make this game look completely fresh and new. This was, of course, done by a very tiny development team, so it still doesn't look like a crazy AAA release, but for what it is, it's pretty dang impressive, especially because they have completely redone every single frame of the cutscenes to give this a completely nice new coat of paint that really shines, and it gives the chance for you to appreciate how much they were trying to achieve with the original game. Let's talk about the gameplay though, because this game, despite the fact that it's short, you can run through it again and again and still have a blast. Because this being an on-rail shooter, essentially what's going on is all around you there's tons of other dragon riders, different bad guys, different individuals who are just trying to stop you and save their evil empire. It's cool, but I like the fact that every level is a tiny gauntlet. It's your chance to try and go through weird tunnels or cities that are currently under attack and try and destroy everything around you. Now, here's how the game actually works. So you only really have one button, which is your shoot button. If you tap it, your little dragon rider guy will fire his pistol. It's like your direct fire attack. But if you hold it down for a second, you can do a lock-on strike, which can hit multiple opponents at once. Even though this is kind of a one-button game, there is a tiny bit of strategy to it, especially with the bosses and stuff, because sometimes they'll only open themselves up to an attack if you've done a lock-on strike first. It's definitely a limited style, but you can tell that it's purposeful in design. This is supposed to be basic, and in that way, it definitely works. There is one giant thing that I definitely didn't like though, which is that there is a strange delay at times, most specifically with the tilting. So as you're riding this, you're able to, of course, do your lock-on strikes and your focus strikes, but you need to be able to pivot the camera. By pressing the shoulder buttons, L or R, you turn your viewpoint, making it so you can see basically things to your north, south, east, or west. But there's this little tiny half-second delay that drives me nuts because you need to be able to constantly tilt things around. Really, the only mechanic in this game is not just shooting, but trying to constantly tilt your camera to see where targets are at, because people are sometimes all around you, so you need to be able to very quickly and very instantly pick targets and take them out, especially against bosses. And even though this delay is only a half second, it definitely felt like a full second when my pulse was pounding and I was trying to drop a target because I was low health. Overall, I had a very good time with this game, and even though I was able to beat it in like an hour, I still think that it's cool. I just want to say though, this is only for existing fans. If you're somebody who's never tried the Panzer Dragoon series before, or you think that this might be an accessible way to get into it, I would say 100% wait for a sale. $25 to get a 1 hour game, even if you are going to play it again and again. It just doesn't quite feel worth it. This is something that I think would be a steal of a deal if it were $10 or $15, but being this much is just a tad too high. Okay, so we've heard some good and some bad, but let's go over the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving the Panzer Dragoon Remake a 7.5 out of 10. It's very cool as a classic Sega fan to see this game coming back, but it would have been cool if we saw something extra thrown in, like a boss rush mode, or something in this to make it feel like more than just a straight up beat for beat remake. But for what it is, I'm certainly happy with it. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. This was a short video. Normally I like to do like big, giant, elaborate, crazy reviews, but since this game is only 1 hour, obviously I couldn't really kind of ramble about it. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.